What it is, everybody? Thanks for tuning back in here to another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Got the Trans Am in the garage today behind me, and we are going to be performing some work here on this motor. Nothing too crazy, quick change out, and what we got going on. Let's see, this light ain't gonna make much of a difference, but what we got going on is we're gonna be changing this pulley here on this tensioner. Now, of course, the stock tensioner, as it is known here on these LS1s, they're spring-loaded, and they just kind of suck. So I already put the ATI dampener on there. That took care of a lot of harmonics and stuff like that inside of the engine. And on obviously, of course, external, got it, you know, situated and everything like that. But what the main issue is when you want to spin this motor at high RPM, the stock tensioner just isn't going to hold it. And it's known on the LS1s, you know, the factory red line's like 5,900 or something like that. Well, I spin this shit past 7,000 many times. Obviously, with the new motor setup, it can obviously take that. So, the stock tensioner doesn't supply enough tension when you're going between gears and banging gears and stuff like that, and it causes, obviously, the belt here to vibrate and rattle, and sometimes jump off the tensioner. And when it jumps off the tensioner, it decides to jump off the power steering pump and obviously walk on the water pump pulley as well. Now let me run on over here and I'll show you what we got to fix for that. And everywhere I kind of looked, you know, everyone in online's kind of said the same thing. So we went to Katech Performance and we got a billet tensioner. Let me take this out of the bag. Ugh. And we got a billet tensioner that is obviously going to supply tension based on the amount of tension that I put on it, with a lock bolt here on the back. And of course, here are all the settings and stuff like that they tell you to torque the bolts down. That is obviously going to go into the engine block to hold the tensioner on, and of course how much tension to supply on the belt itself, so you don't prematurely wear out the bearings on the tensioner, and of course obviously wear out the belt. If you also notice, the shoulder on the pulley is significantly higher than the stocker. So this should obviously solve it. And what a lot of people have obviously already said, that if you're going to spin this thing past 6,300 RPM, this is definitely needed. So we're going to go ahead and throw this on there, and this should cure all of our belt jumping off the all of the ribs and such like that when I'm ripping through the gears and high RPMs and such like that. So let's run over to the TA and get this sucker on. It shouldn't take me no longer than a few minutes. Alright, now this is the part where you have to tighten the belt to go ahead and apply the correct amount of tension so that it will be correctly tensioned. Katech recommends 25 foot-pounds of tension. I have my 1/2-inch torque wrench with my adapter on it so that I can tighten it, because I don't have a 3/8 torque wrench. We'll go ahead and stick that in, get this tight, pull this back, and it's starting to tighten. We pull back, and when you hear the torque wrench click, right there, that's the tension. And then we go ahead and tighten the jam nut. Tighten the locking nut to 40 foot-pounds. And there you go. And then after that, come over and check the tension. And it is significantly tighter than it was before. And that will obviously solve our belt walking issues. You can see how much taller the shoulder of this pulley is. And when I turn this sucker on, it's not going to go ahead and walk at all. So that is how you install the Katech Belt Tensioner. Very quick, very simple, very easy install. And of course, we'll obviously check this as time progresses, just to make sure nothing comes up. And we'll keep these instructions just so that we remember, obviously, the torque specs. But very simple, very easy. And if you have an LS1 and you're watching or anything like that, or LS2, like on a GTO, these are common problems and such like that. So you definitely maybe want to check it out. Tensioner was 160 bucks. A little on the pricey side, but hey, if you didn't want to go fast or anything like that, if you don't want any problems, don't mess with your shit. So it's part of hot ride and it's part of racing. So, but that's going to wrap it up here for today's video on the Trans Am and everything else. I hope you guys like what you saw. Most of all, hopefully it was informative to you guys. And that's going to wrap it up. So hopefully we'll see you here for another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Facebook, Instagram, @SpeedBug, same name here as YouTube. Peace.